American Family Insurance, Oak Park Place, Wild Rock Golf Club, Zimbra European. Also, University Ridge Golf Course, Ridge Top Exteriors, Wisconsin.Golf, Cleary Building Corp., and Nevada Bobs. Now from the new home of TPC Wisconsin in Madison, here are the hosts of Talking, member of the Wisconsin Golf Hall of Fame, the legendary Tiziani, longtime Madison sportscaster Paul Braun, and Wisconsin sports veteran and statewide radio host Mike Heller.
Cherokee Country Club in Madison. It used to be called Cherokee. We welcome you to the show. And it keeps us on the air. Dennis Tiziani, Mike Heller. Time a little bit later in the show, talk 4 or 5 weeks, but you're out there a number pretty close, isn't it?
And really close. We are on track. Ready. Lockers will be here July. And so install them, and the people delivering will do the upstairs here. And they went by, and wow, I said, now we're cooking.
Now your
decision we made to not short anything. I mean, weather is top shelf of everything.
Mike, and you and your wife a little bit from a see out there.
Yeah, we walked it on Sunday night on the paths, Dennis. Just so you know.
No, we called
out on the cart, looking around, and walked the whole. It looks just fantastic, and you know, kudos. You know, you get the itch, the desire, the one. Like when it's shaped differently. I was talking to Travis earlier today. The trees that were taken out, that your mind's eye shape of the golf course, which essentially is what it is, compared to what we have played for.
Well, they staggered the bunkers. You know, that gives you the designs. Steve and I went through today because them $50,000 deal. Forget that stuff. Playability, and you know it's all sand topped. There's about 1.5 feet of sand, so it's firm. So when you hit the ball with your iron, it's going to bounce. The ball's going to go a little bit higher, and there's going to be spin. Different a little bit than we had before, where we had
very spongy.
All right, we'll go into detail on that a little later, but we are going to very shortly. We're going to be talking about Steve, and it's a big week. The senior open up in Sentry World.
Yeah, up at Sentry World in Stevens Point, the U.S. Senior Open tees off. It's a 4-round event because it's a major on the Champions Tour. So that begins on Thursday up at Sentry World. And, you know, we're going to visit with Steve here in just a moment or two. And in doing so, when we talked to Steve last week, he said he was going to probably stop and, you know, wait till the weather was the right way, but play 9 holes and play another 9 holes and then be good to go. And it looks like the weather should be fantastic. The one element that you can't control, it should be a good weather week up in Stevens Point. And I'm really excited to see how the course shows. And then, you know, Steve's got to be the favorite. Padraig Harrington won over the weekend.
Steve Stricker is ready.
He'll be right there in the deal,
got
so it
Steve.
should be fun.
Well, let's go to Steve right now. And Steve, welcome to the show, along with Dennis and Mike, Paul Braun, Dave McCann at this end. Steve, Jerry Kelly, I saw a couple of comments. Apparently, what his initial reaction was to Sentry World. He said the greens are thick and they can stretch this course out. Is that a good summary of what we might see up there this coming weekend?
Yeah, I think, they can stretch it out. I don't think they will make it. I mean, it's going to be a great test. I played there on Saturday, and the rough is up. The fairways are fairly narrow, but the rough is very penal. You know, most of the times you're probably not even going to be able to get it to the green, I would imagine. But there's some holes that they have to be careful on, too. I mean, and they have to worry about, there's certain guys on the Champions Tour that just don't hit it very far. I mean, we all lose a bunch of yardage the older we get. And so they're always conscious of that and not trying to make it just super unplayable or too long for some of the guys that don't hit it very far.
Yeah, Steve, I was wondering, when we visited on this a week ago, you talked about playing a couple of times of 9 holes just to get a feel and a flavor, but you wanted to do it when it was going to be summer type weather, right? You wanted to do it where the conditions would be similar to what you're going to play later this week. How's that worked out for you, and what have you seen?
Yeah, I played it on Saturday with the proper wind, and it was kind of a westerly or southwest wind, and then I played it in a north wind too, last week, and which we may get some of. I saw that we may get some north wind, during the tournament round. So, it's all you want in a golf course. This course, it's in great shape. There's a lot of hazards and water that come into play. Like I said, the rough is up. Some of the par threes can be very long. They turned a par 5 into a par 4, number 9. So I think, that always makes it a challenge. So it's going to be a good test. And but I got some good practice in, and I'll go up there tomorrow, play 9 holes tomorrow, 9 holes on Wednesday, and try to get the current conditions. And but it's I'm excited and looking forward to it.
Steve, what have you noticed about your game over the course of time when you've had a couple of weeks off? Because that's what you will have had going into the U.S. Senior Open this week. How does that impact you? Is it all good that you're fresh and those types of things?
Yeah, and I play a lot of golf still, even when I have my weeks off. I've got 3 girls that love to play, and I'm either playing or going to watch them play. So, it didn't feel like 2 weeks off. It went by pretty quickly, to tell you the truth. And I stay in the game, and I play and do all that kind of stuff. And but I'm excited. I'm ready to go, and I only play this week, and I've got another week off. So that's always fun too, when you only have to prepare for 1 week, and it's a major, it's a big event, and one that I'd love to get in the mix on Sunday and try to see if I can win.
Steve, it's different for everybody, but I'm kind of curious. You're so effective in terms of putting and chipping and that kind of thing. I'm really struggling with chipping, so I'm curious. How many wedges do you use, or do you have a primary wedge that you use in most situations?
Yeah, I use just one wedge, basically my 60 degree, which is actually 59 degrees, and I've just learned to use that pretty much in most scenarios. Occasionally I'll use my 54 degree wedge, around the green, chipping, but not very often. I've learned to hit my 60, down with roll, and then hit it up with spin. So I just feel comfortable using that one wedge and use it in most all cases. It's
different again, as I'm mentioning for everybody, but is there a key to chipping? What could you give me one piece of advice in terms of, is there something logical that you can use or think about in terms of chipping? And I'm getting a freakish look from Dennis here right now.
Well, just try it right-handed.
Yeah.
Step on the other side of the ball, Paul.
That's right. Get over there.
Right. I don't know. I'd have to watch you, Paul. And but
you don't want to.
I know that's not going to happen.
Want to do that.
You'll never be a good chipper again.
I've got a friend that struggles with chipping too, and it's hard. It gets in your mind after a while. It's like putting. You start thinking about things that you shouldn't even be thinking about, and I, basically all I'm thinking about is where I want to land that ball, and then I've practiced my technique enough. And I think, do you practice, Paul? That's the first question.
Absolutely.
All right.
I probably hit 600-700 balls this spring from 50 yards in, and I think I'm worse. So something's not working. But go ahead, Mike.
Steve, let me. We're going to talk with Dennis at some length later on about what's going on here at TPC and where we are in the process. But I know you were out there with the family last night. When you're out there, what do you see? What are you looking at, and what are you seeing in this property now, and that excitement of having it open in about 5 or 6 weeks?
Yeah, I'm super excited. We all are, and to get it going and get it open. It's got a little bit of growing up to do, obviously, growing in, I should say. But the holes that were planted last, I think I was just out there just an hour ago, looked at a couple of those holes. Number 6 was the last one planted, and it's coming along. So in 5 or 6 weeks' time, you would think that it'd be ready to be played on, and there's going to be little tweaks. Dennis and I have talked about it. Some maybe bunker removal of some holes, or adding more fairway. Just little things that it's hard to see when you're. And that was my first go around, so it was hard to see, on dirt. But then when you start putting the grass down and it starts to grow up, and then you start to play a couple of the holes, it kind of hits you that there's certain things that need to be changed already, in our minds, and they're not big things, but things that'll help playability, things that'll make it a little bit more player friendly, I think, so it's exciting. I can't wait, and there's a lot of work to be done there. It still looks like to me, a lot of patching and trees to be cut, all sorts of different things that have to get going. And but it's coming together. There's some greens that are so pure right now that you could just cut them down and play on them right now. So, and the fairways for the most part, like I said, I was out on 6, the last one that was planted, and you could. It's a little it's not growing in fully, but you could, it's pretty good already. So 5 or 6 more weeks of growing, it should be ready to go.
I got one more I want to ask you about. The guys were sitting around the bar the other night, and they sampled, for people that don't know, strychnine. How did that all come about, and why don't you explain about strychnine?
Yeah, well, strychnine is a poison, right?
Yes, that's what I've heard.
So it's a little play on words, because it's actually my nickname too. There's a few people that call me Strychnine. My coach, my old coach at the University of Illinois, Coach Beard, called me Strychnine. Freddie Couples calls me Strychnine. There's only about 2 or 3 people that call me Strychnine, and so we thought it'd be fun. District 1 Brewery asked if we would be interested in having a beer, and for the U.S. Open and this summer, and all that kind of stuff. So the proceeds benefit our foundation, which is a kind of a neat thing. And so we why don't we come up with a name? They asked us, and I mentioned, well, how about strychnine? And it's a poison. So if you look on the can, the symbol for strychnine is on there. The poison. So, it's been fun. So they asked what I liked, and I said, that's like a summer shandy kind of beer, kind of fruity, but not too fruity. And so they made up 3 different samples, and we had some friends, and we had a little tasting party, and we all came up with the one that currently that they are canning. And, I enjoy it too. I like it, and I don't know. Did you guys like it when you were sampling it?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I had not drank a beer in probably 35 years. But Steve, I drank. I drank.
Don't start now. It's good
and
advice, Steve.
Actually, it tasted very good, and I'm not just saying that. Apparently, you had, right? You had sampled 3, and you said this one's the best, correct?
Yep.
So working.
Yeah. Well, I have to get it because I don't have it yet, and then we can carry it at my place too.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
So
very good.
Okay, Steve, we're going to let you go, but thanks.
Hey, Steve,
and
best
good luck
of luck
this week.
Yeah, go get
Take care.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Oh, boy.
Strychnine, and you haven't tasted it yet.
No,
huh?
but I will now.
They do they have it at TPC Wisconsin.
Oh, yeah.
They're serving it here, so you'll probably see it somewhere on the shelf.
Yeah.
You talk about their foundation, $14.8 million and 700 different organizations. primarily the Children's Hospital have benefited from that tournament. That's unbelievable.
It's impressive. We always talk about Steve and his game and his accomplishments on the course with championships.
Yeah.
He won't do anything bigger than what he and Nikki and family have done with the foundation. That's the legacy.
How did that all start, Dennis?
What's that?
The foundation and the whole concept.
Well, he was, this goes back a little ways, looking for something that he can do like that. Obviously, he was making money, right? So the way to do it is you're going to give it away.
Yeah.
And what's the best way to do it? Okay, it's the foundation. Then American Family was looking for a rep. What better rep can you get than this guy? Mm-hmm. So that's how it all came together. Jack Salzwedel, of course, was very, very instrumental in doing that. He's a very good guy. And he and Jack are very good buddies. And all of a sudden, Nikki's got some great ideas, too. And Mario's on that board. So between Mario and Steve and Nikki, there you go. And with partners with American Family, and away you go. Then all of a sudden, he kind of strikes it rich, kind of like wins all these tournaments and the like. And then comes the business of the foundation, where to do with it. And Children's Hospital is something that's been big for him forever. Yeah. And you'll go back, Arnold Palmer, people like that took that route because you can really make an impact with that. And when we went there to start out with, they were just starting to reconstruct the 8th floor and stuff like that. But since that time, phenomenal, what he's done.
Well, and I wanted to add to what I was saying. The legacy is the foundation. But you can't build the foundation if he doesn't have the tournament success. So the two go hand in hand. The more he wins, the more success he's had, the greater the foundation's ability to pull money in has been over time.
And, you've heard me say it before. It is the success in the future is coming up. I mean, he's just starting to play good, really. And he's going to be able to do that. I don't know about going to the big tour anymore, but certainly on that senior tour. And then there's a lot. I just give you one thing, a new member joined our club, and he has a son that has cerebral palsy. Mm-hmm. So I did a little research in it. Well, it comes to find out that Steve is a good friend of this kid. I didn't know that, and signed autographs and stuff like that. Well, he plays golf. Very bright guy, graduated here from Wisconsin, and he's on he runs a particular program at American Family. And he's on other boards. So when we say cerebral palsy, but this kid lives by himself. But now comes, he likes to play golf. So his dad said, "What about this boy?" And I said, "Well, what about him?" "Well, he's your son." "Yeah, but he's 29 or something like that." "I don't care. He's a member here with your." Now that's not a condition of membership, he says. Okay, so then we go further. Now he plays on a cart.
Yeah.
A cart that's specific for that.
Sure.
So my green superintendent happened to be there. So let me show you what this guy has right here now. He's going to be able to drive on the tee and hit. Yeah. He drives on the green and putts.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah. When you see it, you'll see what I'm saying. Now, he's only going to play maybe 15, maybe 20 times a year. But the fact remains is, again, a continuation of the connection. All those connections. So it's really cool.
Well, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, Dylan Parisi and Travis Becker, they are doing segments on from the golf instruction point of view. And with Dylan, we're going to talk about the different wedges and how they fit you and what they're looking for and that kind of thing. He's really good. Yeah. We'll be back on Talking Golf at TPC Wisconsin right after this timeout.
Life's better with a home policy from American Family Insurance because you'll feel protected no matter how the wind blows. All so you can keep enjoying the home of your dreams. And our expert agents can help you save up to 23% when you bundle home with auto. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. American Family Insurance. Get a quote? Find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Relationships.
Building them.
Making them last a lifetime.
Since 1978, Cleary has worked to develop true relationships with you, our customers. Hi, I'm Sean Cleary, president of Cleary Building Corp. Relationships are what drive our success. So whether you are looking at storage for your toys or a new ag building, we hope to exceed your expectations each time we serve you. We are here for every stage of your life. Build your dreams today at clearybuilding.com.
Oak Park Place is a proud sponsor of the Golf Effect radio show. While golfers need peace of mind to succeed on the course, Oak Park Place offers seniors and their loved ones peace of mind by providing the right balance of care centered around an active lifestyle. Hi, this is Pat Richter for Oak Park Place. Choose a senior living community with neighbors that become like family. Oak Park Place Senior Living. Locations throughout Wisconsin. Visit oakparkplace.com to learn more.
It's time to lock in your tee time at University Ridge Golf Course. Now taking reservations up to 90 days in advance for the 2023 golf season. Book at universityridge.com. Proud host of the American Family Insurance Championship, University Ridge is a course for everyone with tees ranging from 5,000 to 7,200 yards. Even if you don't have time to play, stop out and play on the free putting course or pay $20 to hit practice balls for an hour on our grass tee practice range. Play where the Badgers and the pros play in 2023.
When it comes to golf, being the best takes years of hard work, focus, and love of the game. It's no different for Ridgetop Exteriors. For over 20 years, transferring our neighbors' homes with new roofs, siding, and windows has been par for the course, and we've mastered our craft. For a free estimate, go to ridgetopexteriors.com. Affordable roofing, siding, and windows, plus award-winning customer service. Get your estimate today at ridgetopexteriors.com and let them know Ridgetop Larry sent you.
Looking for new equipment? TPC Wisconsin has a team of certified fitters that have been ranked top 100 club fitters by Golf Digest, Titleist, Ping, and Mizuno. TPC Wisconsin fitters use science, art, technology, and ball flight to determine the best equipment for your swing. To schedule your private fitting experience, contact Dylan Parisi at 608-249-1000. Learn from the best. Get better. Only at TPC Wisconsin. Back on Talking Golf at TPC Wisconsin, along with Dylan Parisi, I'm Paul Brown. Dylan involved with wedge fitting here at TPC. Dylan, in terms of for people that are going to get fitted for clubs, and there's a process that's involved with that. And specifically when it comes to, if I were coming to you and say, I want you to make an evaluation of the wedges I have and the wedges I need. Kind of take me through that process of what would happen.
Sure. So I like to kind of think of it as being a three-step process, where the initial phase is we start looking at your bag and kind of just get an initial evaluation of your current wedges and start asking you questions, and that's kind of the interview process. I'm going to ask you, what are your goals here? What do you want to kind of see with your wedge composition, and how many do you want to have, first of all? Then also it's going to be, what kinds of shots do you use these wedges for? And start watching you hit a few golf balls and kind of ask you questions about what are your tendencies, what are your misses, do you chunk the ball, do you hit the ball thin? And just kind of get an idea of how you use your clubs, and it's kind of in the back of my head now throughout the fitting as we go through the rest of the process as just kind of keys into what we're going to do with your wedges.
Okay, let's talk about that. You say you're going to have me swing a few. So if I've got a 58 degree in my hands and I start hitting a few balls and stuff, you're looking at what?
So first things first, we're going to look at, also part of that interview process is I'm going to ask you what kind of courses do you play from, what are the conditions that you play certain shots from, firm, soft, and then look at your technique, get a feel for your attack angle, and do you tend to push your hands ahead of the golf ball and engage the leading edge of the club more, or do you tend to use your hands more and use the trailing edge of the club more?
Okay, and so then you start to get a feel for the type of player I am and some of the issues that I have. Do you have different brands of clubs that I can try to see if one might be better than the other, or what's going to potentially solve the issue that I have there?
Sure. So yes, we do have multiple brands, but every brand makes each of the wedges and each of the bounces and grinds that we're trying to fit you into. So the biggest thing is just trying to figure out which is the correct bounce and grind for what kind of shot you want to use these clubs for.
And for people that don't understand this technology and maybe it sounds a little intimidating what we're talking about here, when you talk about using those terms and that, what can you do to reassure them that potentially here are the clubs that you should be used depending on this particular situation?
Sure. So let's just take someone who does have a tendency to hit the ball fat on their chip shots and leave the ball short, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we'd first start looking, he's considered to be a digger of the golf ball, and he engages the leading edge of his wedge very well, and so we'd like to add bounce to prevent that club from getting into the ground so much.
And hitting out of traps, do you use the same wedge all the time and hitting out of the trap, or are there different potential wedges that you should use based on the situation you're in that trap?
I think what you just said is depending on the situation, the lie you have in front of you, the shot you're trying to hit, should all dictate what club you want to use. Some of the best wedge players in the world use all their clubs for all kinds of situations. And so getting into, when you're looking at fitting for wedges, sometimes it's great to have, a couple different bounce options in your set. So depending on the lie you have in front of you, you have a club that can handle that shot.
How does this fitting process work? How long would it take if I came over to TPC in the Learning Center where you're located and that kind of thing? From beginning to end, how long approximately would it take?
Sure. So wedge fitting typically takes about 60 minutes. Again, that would cover the initial evaluation of your current sets, the player interview. We'll dive into kind of the bounce and grind options. And then the other part is just more of a blind test that I like to use, where I'll kind of blindly hand you the wedges, not letting you know what bounce and grind they are.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of have you hit shots and see what that club produces as far as the ball flight, the sound it creates, and just watching the turf interaction that it's having. And usually the golfer can pick up on that pretty well. I'm listening to a sound it's trying to make. You can feel it. And for the most part, the golfer can pick up on what's the best wedge for him.
And you might be able to see while you're going through that process that you take a look, for an example, at the wedges I have, and you're watching me hit in. It might be in the end, Paul, the problem's with your swing. It's not with your wedges, right?
It does happen, yes.
Yeah.
A lot of times that is the case where either you might be using the wedges incorrectly. And so, at that point, I'm more than happy to sit down and discuss with you, okay, let's keep these same wedges in your bag, but maybe let's try something in your technique that we can change to give you more success.
How about cost of getting the process done for fitting your wedges? Give us an idea of what's involved there.
Yeah, so the fitting fee itself is $100. And then if you purchase clubs through TPC Wisconsin, we will waive half of that fee.
Any other final thoughts in terms of fitting the wedges that you would have? Or?
Yeah, I'd say the easiest thing to do is just go and buy a wedge off the rack without thinking too much about it and thinking that it doesn't really matter. And I would say that the wedges are probably the clubs you use the most in a round of golf.
That's what I wondered.
They're your scoring clubs. Use them a lot more often than you ever use, 3-wood or hybrid. And so getting those dialed in to the correct loft and bounce can really improve your contact, your turf interaction, spin, and control around the green.
And so it'd be worth the investment.
I think so, absolutely.
Thank you very much for joining us. We'll be back on Talking Golf at TPC Wisconsin right after this timeout.
A new year, and maybe it's time for new equipment. If yes, Nevada Bob's is the place to go. Jeff and Max are the fittest fitters around, and they can set you up from driver to putter and everything in between. And anything else golf-related, wheel and deal with Joel.
Your game, your store, always at the best price.
Life's better with an auto policy from American Family Insurance. No matter what dreams you're driving towards. That's because our expert agents will make you feel totally protected with the right auto coverage at the right price. You'll also save up to 23% when you bundle auto with home. American Family Insurance. Get a quote, find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
When you're looking for an amazing golf experience, look no further than Wild Rock Golf Club in the Wisconsin Dells. This stunning championship course offers unforgettable views from elevated tee boxes with greens that roll fast and true. Cut from the natural beauty of the Dells, Wild Rock is truly a sight to behold. Secluded and sheltered from the outside world, Wild Rock is a unique gem that offers challenges for all skill levels. Enjoy the Wild Rock experience. Do yourself a favor by booking your tee time online today at wildrockgolf.com. That's wildrockgolf.com.
Oak Park Place is a proud sponsor of the Golf Effect radio show. While golfers need peace of mind to succeed on the course, Oak Park Place offers seniors and their loved ones peace of mind by providing the right balance of care centered around an active lifestyle. Hi, this is Pat Richter for Oak Park Place. Choose a senior living community with neighbors that become like family. Oak Park Place Senior Living. Locations throughout Wisconsin. Visit oakparkplace.com to learn more.
This is Gary D'Amato, senior writer for Killarney Golf Media and Wisconsin.golf. Visit Wisconsin.golf for the latest in golf news and feature stories about people, places, and tournaments in our state. And listen to Talking Golf on TPC Wisconsin to hear me spar with Dennis Tiziani. Wisconsin.golf and Talking Golf. On the internet and on your radio dial, the voices of golf in Wisconsin.
Why drive an ordinary car when for the same monthly payment you could be driving something extraordinary? Aaron Perkins, General Manager, Zimbrick European. Imagine yourself behind the wheel of a Mercedes-Benz, Audi, or Porsche. More safety, performance, and luxury, and way more fun. And getting more costs less than you think. Zimbrick European makes leasing affordable. Discover the value for yourself. Stop in and test drive a Mercedes-Benz, Audi, or Porsche today. Visit Zimbrick European and find out why leasing the car of your dreams makes so much sense.
Your golf game need a pick-me-up? It's one-stop shopping only at Nevada Bob. Joel and his crew can equip you, dress you, teach you, and here's the best part. New or used, clubs, shoes, bags, carts, apparel, balls, you name it, and they got it. Isn't that right, Joel?
Your game, your store, always at the best price.
Back with Dennis Tiziani, Mike Heller, I'm Paul Brown, and Tiz, I want to do a little follow-up on what we were talking about in terms of chipping and stuff like that, and take it from a couple of different ways. When you look at someone in chipping, what are you looking for, and what advice can you give people in terms of if they're having chipping problems? What do they do?
Club selection is really important, but you should look at this. Can I see the back of the ball? Well, yeah. Well, if I can see the back of the ball, then it opens up how many clubs I can use. If I can't see the back of the ball and it's in the grass, there's only one thing I can use, the heaviest club I can, which is probably your 60 degree or your sand iron. One that has a lot of bounce, because you want the bounce to hit the ground. That's what makes the ball up. The second thing you look at is, how far do I have to chip it from where the ball is to the front of the green? And the third thing then, how far from the front of the green to where the hole is does it have to go? So, okay, if I'm chipping it, I don't have a long ways to go to the front of the green, and the pin is 30 feet away. Well, probably I'd use maybe a 7 iron or 9 iron. So I picked the right club, first of all, which is important. Then this business of where do you land it? You know, I mean, usually you're 1/3, 2/3. 1/3 is where you land it, and 2/3 where it goes. That's all the process. But then the other part is now you got to hit the ball. You know, now you got to make your stroke, and you're not interested so much in setting the club. And I watch you. You know, you're back there jigging the club and setting the club like this. Well, once you set the club, then you have to unset it. Well, there's no way that you can control that. So you go to the right, no wrist break. Your right wrist stays in that position all the way. None of this and none of that. That's you, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right. That has to stay there. So then, well, then what? Well, it's how far back I take it determines how far it's going to go. I'm more interested on the left side, the follow-through side. And I want to make sure the bounce, the bottom of the club, is finishing under the ball. The leading edge does not strike the ground. The bounce does, and it's the bounce that you work. Then you go from there, and we have a thing called, you know, when you shoot free throws, you use your feet, your toes. You watch when they shoot. A flat-footed guy breaks the glass, you know. The other guy has the softness, which is in his footwork. So you concentrate, then you bring them back, and you start to use your feet. So you're using that upward movement or your footwork on the ground, pushing down on the ground. That gives you the consistency. You want to take as much snap of the wrist or hand action out of this as you possibly can. I.e. Steve Stricker, oh, he's stiff-wristed, you know. He doesn't do any wrist break. Did you ever try to hit the ball without wrist break? I mean, it's impossible to do. Now, in that particular case, though, on a short shot, you'll see he uses his foot. You watch the top players. Their right heel never comes off the ground. when they're chipping the ball, stays on the ground. The longer, in making your lateral move to the ball, in making that lateral move, the longer your right heel stays on the ground, the more the blade turns out. We want the blade to turn out so that we could do a thing called serve the coffee, right? When you get on the left side, that blade better be straight up in the air so I can put a cup of coffee on it.
One follow-up, Mike, then if you've got anything.
Is that too much for you guys?
No. Because here's
it's this other guy over here that you've been trying to teach how to chip for 35 years.
And I take full responsibility for that. And I do. I break my wrists. I have it. Mentally, it's ingrained, right? It's been there. I played golf for 40 years, so I've been doing it wrong for 40 years. I've never had enough instruction to get it corrected. The part that's hard to understand is mentally you can't, it seems like I can't make that adjustment to not breaking the wrist. Why is that? I mean, is it so ingrained that it's muscle memory, or what is that?
You know, you should get a device. There's a device. I knew about it a long time ago for a right hand. But what's the guy, the live guy? Who's the...
Which one?
The leader of the live guy.
Norman.
Yeah, Mo Norman.
Oh.
And he had a device that he put on his back of his wrist that this would never break. And then you go back and you say, well, that's an old thing. Bowlers have that and had that for years, right? Yeah. Straight, back up. Big like this, hook.
Yeah.
Right? So that'd be something for you to get one to put on this side. And now your wrist can't break because it's a plastic thing on here. So you'll find out, well, it won't bend back, so I got to rotate, right?
Yeah.
And you rotate forward. But that'd be a good device for you to get. It's bowling people know about what I'm talking about, so that's an old thing. But when that wrist breaks back, it has to break forward. In a tight situation, when you're nervous and everything else, I mean, come on. You're going to blade it. You're going to chunk it.
Yeah, those are two I do regular. Go ahead, Mike.
You know, it's interesting. I think we're going to talk more about TPC in the final segment. But it's interesting in talking to Travis and to listening to your instructors out here. Teaching is all different, right? I mean, they're going to teach in subtle, different ways than you would teach, but the basics are always going to be in play regardless of who's teaching it.
Well, it should be. The physics, which we're talking about, a circle's round, right, and a line is straight. You can't have an argument with that. Mm-hmm. So we can't have an argument with that fact. So that's what you're basing this on, the circle and the line. It's very important. What makes that plane, that circle, is your shoulder turn. And we had this conversation in putting. I had when I go with Steve and we'd make a trip, I wants to know about that, so I ask him various questions that you can't have an opinion. If the longer the blade stays square to the ball and away towards the ball, wouldn't you be more accurate?
Should be.
Should be. Every putt's a straight putt. Only the ground makes it go crooked. Mm-hmm. Right? You can't have an argument with that.
Yeah.
Do you believe the shoulders make the plane? Yeah. Well, why wouldn't you have your putting your shoulder plane and the line be in the same plane? Why on the right side of your putter is the blade open to the line? Oh, you're a good putter from 20 feet because you can close it. But inside of 10 feet, you can't close it. Back to this hand thing now. You can't do that. So you keep it so it's in the follow-through that it goes on. So back to your point here, when I work with these guys here, that's where they've been with me for 15 years or more. Yeah. They hear all this sort of stuff. And the trick in teaching now is when you get a guy who can't do it, what are the number of things that you can do? Tell them 5 different ways how we can get one time. Oh, I get it.
Yeah.
We just had it right now. Danny McCarthy. Danny plays on the
Corn Ferry
Tour. He was here just a little while ago. I'm going to see him now again. And we got to talking about that. Now, here's a guy who was the Player of the Year in Canada. He's won 5 tournaments up there. He's Player of the Year. He's on the Corn Ferry Tour. And he kept sending me these videos. I said, radial torque is distance. You got to find all the places on your core that you get radial torque. Left ankle, hip turn, pecs and abs, shoulders, left arm. I just gave you half a dozen places where you get radial torque, and you get those things together. Oh, then you go back now, hands, cock the club, release the club. So we went through all this, and I've been telling them about it. So all of a sudden he comes here today, right? He flies in. We're going to think, let me show you what I came up with. So he showed me a way how he can best understand how you can't be so slow through the hitting area with your power at your hip turn. And what happens is you got to stay level because yours is kinked. So your spine angle into your hip turn is backwards. It's got to be straight. As soon as it's backwards, you're stuck. You cannot rotate and make the plane on the left, where you have to make one on the right and one on the left. So he showed me what he did in order to do that. So what I'm trying to get at, now all of a sudden he became his own best teacher.
Yeah.
Now we're cooking. We're cooking.
I was talking to Travis about that today on one of our future segments is when you can take the TrackMan data to the 6th tee, when you pushed it right and had found trouble, and when you can go,
I know.
I learned that over the course of these weeks and these lesson programs. Right. What did I just do? And you can correct it because out there you can't get the lesson.
Well, you're not, and you're right that you get it because, I like all that stuff. I think it's really good. I use it sometime when I want to do it, but for the most part, I look at the trajectory and the shape and the path. Trajectory and shape is in your hands. Path is the relationship of your shoulders to the light at impact governed by your footwork. So I can influence that machine up there. That machine isn't influencing me at all. See?
Let's transition. We're going to have Bobbi Stricker on talking about the Epson Tour and that kind of thing in 6-7 minutes or so.
Was I boring you or what?
No. We want to switch to TPC.
Sounds like a Cracker Barrel that I.
We want to switch to TPC Wisconsin, Dennis, because one of the key things, obviously, is membership.
Oh, yeah.
And where are you? And let's talk a little bit about the different categories in membership and that kind of thing.
Now?
Sure.
Oh, I thought you were going to have Bobbi on.
Yeah, we're going to do that before Bobbi comes on.
Membership is really good. We're about 120. 250 is the thing, but 250 is the number. But we have 350 requests, submissions for membership for golf, 200 for tennis. And we continue to go through those because, there's tire kickers. And as soon as you mention the price, some die out. But, one thing we have is that lifetime membership, And I said, well, we're going to do 25. That's all I'm going to do because in accounting, that's a hole in the balance sheet. I'm giving a lifetime membership. Well, now they're paying $125,000 for it. And again, but to some people, money is not the object.
Right.
They don't care.
But before they hear that number, they should realize what that could be a 30, 40-year membership.
Well, you see, it's a lifetime membership.
Yeah.
You pay no dues. You pay no year-end assessments. You pay no
quarterly minimums.
None of that minimum fee. And you get to hand that down one time. So some of these guys say, really? I said, yeah, why don't you buy that membership for your son so he can give it to his grandson? Now you got 50 years of membership.
Yeah.
Well, I would do that. I said, well, here, I'll give you the pen. I'll give you the pen. Here you go, buddy. Write it out. So it makes some sense. But, Travis just left me. He says, how you doing on that? He says, how many do we have? I've got about 6 people coming in here. I says, I only have 6 left. Only 6 left? I said, yep, I'm only doing 25. The rest of them are sold. So pretty soon that's going to go out the door. And then now people calling about getting in. Where are you? Well, the initiation fee is going up. It's $12,500 now. It's going to 15, going to 18, going to 20, then to 25. That's where it's going to go. And the guy said, well, I better get in. I said, well, I'm not trying to be a salesman, buddy, but I would get in here too,
And internally, Mike, right?
Yeah.
There's you can see a lot of improvements.
Well, shoot. I mean, I live across the street. I walk over here and go through the facility and where we're doing the show and when the Champions Grill is redone and the restaurant that is almost ready to be reopened and all of it, it's fantastic. And like I said, I walked the golf course last night with Kari, and the golf course, that's the key. I mean, that's the diamond here, and it is fantastic. And when members can start playing the 1st of August, I think, and those people that are prospective members are going to come out and play, the memberships are not going to last.
No, it's already filling up. You can see what's going on. But there's a lot of people from the local club. This is a private club in the nation. not a private club in Madison, Wisconsin.
Yeah.
It's a national. So that's what's happening, where people are finally getting to say, whoa, so when they come here, accessibility,
yeah,
service. I had one of my friends come down. He's a lifetime member, and he wanted to have lunch. Okay, come on up. I got this guy, and I want him to join as a lifetime member. Well, bring him in. Can he afford it? Oh, yeah, he can afford it. Well, the bottom line is he brought him in, but he walked through the upstairs here, and he said, I went through the bathrooms. My wife was with me, and all she could say was, wow. Now, you know my wife, don't you? And I said, yeah, I know her really well. And he says, she's so persnickety about this thing, and cost is not the issue. They just could. And that's what we did here. There's no chinson on the outside, and there's no chinson on the inside. I mean, we have $21 million in this thing right now.
Wow.
That's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And 16 out there, and cash that I put in, and then still we have to go yet. But when you take a look at the fixtures, when you take a look at the light, the side, the floor, all top-line stuff, we would not compromise anything. And even PGA people, when we set it out here, he didn't chintz on anything. Those aren't rock out there. That's granite.
Yeah.
That sand is different.
Yeah.
On and on it goes, and the seed that he put in and all this sort of stuff. So we when we sat and went through this, if in fact that's true, that it's a private club in the nation, and you have to be one of 30 clubs. And, of course, already they come here, and they've already got us on the Wall of Fame for the TPC.
It's pretty impressive already.
He tells me, this is one of the top 5 courses that we've got. I said, well, here we go.
Let's go.
Well, let's take a break and get Bobby on here. We'll be back on TPC Wisconsin after this time out.
Life's better with a home policy from American Family Insurance, because you'll feel protected no matter how the wind blows. All so you can keep enjoying the home of your dreams. And our expert agents can help you save up to 23% when you bundle home with auto. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. American Family Insurance. Get a quote? Find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
TPC Wisconsin houses a world-class golf instruction, coaching, and club fitting experience. Golfers have year-round access to our award-winning coaches and club fitters, state-of-the-art technologies,
Bobby is ready.
and PGA Tour quality facilities. If you'd like to learn more about junior and women's golf, private instruction, group coaching, or business clinics, please contact Travis Becker at tbecker@tpcwisconsin.com. Learn from the best. Get better only at TPC Wisconsin.
When you're looking for an amazing golf experience, look no further than Wild Rock Golf Club in the Wisconsin Dells. This stunning championship course offers unforgettable views from elevated tee boxes with greens that roll fast and true. Cut from the natural beauty of the Dells, Wild Rock is truly a sight to behold. Secluded and sheltered from the outside world, Wild Rock is a unique gem that offers challenges for all skill levels. Enjoy the Wild Rock experience. Do yourself a favor by booking your tee time online today at wildrockgolf.com. That's wildrockgolf.com.
When it comes to golf, being the best takes years of hard work, focus, and love of the game. It's no different for Ridgetop Exteriors. For over 20 years, transferring our neighbors' homes with new roofs, siding, and windows has been par for the course, and we've mastered our craft. For a free estimate, go to ridgetopexteriors.com. Affordable roofing, siding, and windows, plus award-winning customer service. Get your estimate today at ridgetopexteriors.com. Let them know Ridgetop sent you.
Hi, I'm Sean Cleary. I'd like to take a quick 30 seconds and talk to you about the most important part of a Cleary building, the foundation. Without it, you won't be able to stand the test of time. At Cleary, our foundation is made up of some truly amazing people. Our Cleary family rises to the challenge every day, and it shows when that shamrock is applied. So if you are looking for a new challenge at our corporate office or out on the construction site, join the Cleary family today by clicking on careersatclearybuilding.com.
This is Gary D'Amato, senior writer for Killarney Golf Media and Wisconsin.golf. Visit Wisconsin.golf for the latest in golf news and feature stories about people, places, and tournaments in our state. And listen to Talking Golf on TPC Wisconsin to hear me spar with Dennis Tiziani. Wisconsin.golf and Talking Golf. On the internet and on your radio dial, the voices of golf in Wisconsin.
Back with you on Talking Golf at TPC Wisconsin. I'll tell you this, I always look forward to visiting with Bobbi Stricker, whether I see her over at the range or on the putting green or when we have Bobbi on the show. And Bobbi, you played up at Sweetgrass over the weekend in an Epsom Tour event, joins us. Let's walk through, again, another learning opportunity, right? Another one on that pathway.
Yes. Yeah, it was a good weekend. I missed the cut, but yes, another learning opportunity, like you said.
Yeah,
a lot of positives to pull from, but yeah, some silly mistakes that I can continue to learn from, and it's another one under my belt, and I feel more and more comfortable out there, which is a really cool thing for me. So.
Yeah, I was just talking to Grandpa about this, and he said, yeah, I mean, that you have a lot of offense in your game. That's not the issue, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're learning that as you go. Obviously, you can make birdies, but it's some mistakes that as all golfers learn, it's the mistakes that you have to correct.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's all about, minimizing those mistakes. And I definitely have gotten better with that over the last few years or so, but yeah, it's not making a lot of bogeys. I made a lot of bogeys this weekend, and I was talking to Grandpa about this actually last night. Like I said to you, I feel more comfortable out there, which I need to kind of check every once in a while that yes, that can be to my advantage, but I have realized this weekend it kind of brought to my attention that I think maybe sometimes it can work to my disadvantage. Like I get a little lazy and lackadaisical on certain things that in the past I really haven't been. So yeah, when those things happen and I make those bogeys and I almost have to, I check myself and then I can turn on a switch almost and get right back into that super uber focused. Usually when I start my rounds, I'm like that. So yes, it's always, I'm learning more and more about myself as I go on.
And a follow-up on that, Bobbi, in terms of you've been out there now a couple of years and you're starting to get to know some of the competition and that kind of thing and seeing the quality of play. What are you learning about that aspect of it, and maybe what's different in your thought process as compared to before you got out there?
Yeah. I for sure am more confident in myself. Because I see, these past, I've played in, I think this is my 5th Epsom Tour event this season. So I've played in 5. I've seen what it takes to be, kind of where I want to be, and I'm really not that far off. So I've gained a lot of confidence in myself, and I've learned in this game that is really, really important. To just kind of trust the process and the path that I'm on. It's not necessarily that I need to fix anything, but just keep improving on the things that I'm doing, and maybe it's small tweaks, which again is another really encouraging thing.
Bobbi, final thought from me, and that is about the difference between playing on a tour and playing collegiately. I was listening to another college athlete talk about this when they finish their game or their practice, they have the academics and all of that work that goes with it.
Yeah.
You're playing in these events, and it's golf and then downtime. And how have you kind of changed that world, and give us a little insight on that?
Yeah, that's a really good question, actually. Golf, like you said, you have your academics and you have golf. So golf is really not your whole entire life when you're in college. And then I've definitely gone through some growing pains in this where you flip it to now, other than you have your social life, and that stuff really hasn't changed coming from college. But now you have more of this free time to now work on. It's your job. So I struggled with that right away because I love to practice, but I'm not a girl that's out there all day. And I had to in college, and I liked to fill my time with other things. And I had to kind of realize and learn, this scheduling and how this works is going to be different from, other girls that are doing it, or even my dad. I saw firsthand kind of growing up what it took to be great, and kind of thought that was what I had to do. And, my parents kept on me of like, you just kind of have to find what works for you.
Yeah.
And so I really have gone through some growing pains, and feel like right now, as I'm sitting here in 2023, that I feel like I have I really like what I'm doing, and I'm seeing that it is making me better. It's making me a better golfer and, a better person, because golf is just something that I do. It's not who I am.
Yeah.
So, it's to answer the question. I don't really know if I
No, I think you did.
You
did, Bobbi. You answered the question, and that's about this process that you're in. And listen, we enjoy watching you go through the process and appreciate you spending time with us, and we look forward to our next visit next time.
Thank you, guys. You guys are the best.
Thank you, Bobbi.
We'll be back at TPC, Wisconsin, right after this timeout.
Your golf game need a pick-me-up? It's
good.
one-stop shopping only at Nevada Bob. Joel and his crew can equip you, dress you, teach you, and here's the best part. New or used, clubs, shoes, bags, carts, apparel, balls, you name it, and they got it. Isn't that right, Joel?
Your game, your store, always at the best price.
Life's better with an auto policy from American Family Insurance. No matter what dreams you're driving towards. That's because our expert agents will make you feel totally protected with the right auto coverage at the right price. You'll also save up to 23% when you bundle auto with home. American Family Insurance. Get a quote, find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Oak Park Place is a proud sponsor of the Golf Effect Radio Show. While golfers need peace of mind to succeed on the course, Oak Park Place offers seniors and their loved ones peace of mind by providing the right balance of care centered around an active lifestyle. Hi, this is Pat Richter for Oak Park Place. Choose a senior living community with neighbors that become like family. Oak Park Place Senior Living. Locations throughout Wisconsin. Visit oakparkplace.com to learn more.
Why drive an ordinary car when for the same monthly payment you could be driving something extraordinary? Aaron Perkins, General Manager, Zimbrick European. Imagine yourself behind the wheel of a Mercedes-Benz, Audi, or Porsche. More safety, performance, and luxury, and way more fun. And getting more costs less than you think. Zimbrick European makes leasing affordable. Discover the value for yourself. Stop in and test drive a Mercedes-Benz, Audi, or Porsche today. Visit Zimbrick European and find out why leasing the car of your dreams makes so much sense.
It's time to lock in your tee time at University Ridge Golf Course. Now taking reservations up to 90 days in advance for the 2023 golf season. Book at universityridge.com. Proud host of the American Family Insurance Championship, University Ridge is a course for everyone with tees ranging from 5,000 to 7,200 yards. Even if you don't have time to play, stop out and play on the free putting course or pay $20 to hit practice balls for an hour on our grass tee practice range. Play where the Badgers and the pros play in 2023.
Welcome back. We are live at Luke and Anna's garage. Sean, what are we looking at here?
Well, Phil, Anna has taken over the garage with her candle business and left no room for lawn care storage. It looks like Luke has a 5-iron. No, make that a 4-iron to knock down the weeds around the house.
Great call, Sean. I don't think that 5-iron would have gotten it done.
It's a story as old as time, Phil. You gotta have the right tools for the job, and if you don't have a place to store the tools, then you should probably visit clearybuilding.com today.
A new year, and maybe it's time for new equipment. If yes, Nevada Bob's is the place to go. Jeff and Max are the fittest fitters around, and they can set you up from driver to putter and everything in between. And anything else golf-related, wheel and deal with Joel.
Your game, your store, always at the best price.
Back at TPC, Wisconsin, for Dave McCann, along with Dennis Tiziani, Mike Heller, I'm Paul Brown. Thank you for joining us. That's
News
Talking
Talk
Golf.
1310 WIBA Madison. Available anywhere you go on the iHeartRadio app. Download it now at WIBA.